Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin. Charlie Adam is with me, and the two swearers, Tam and Ruffy, are here. Just hope that we can get through this hour, Charlie, without those two just bleating and beeping non-stop all the way through the programme.
Pay for what you get. I told you that before, Ruffy. Peter, it's the language is disgusting at times.
Absolutely, and now people are just going to be glued to the programme wondering, are they going to swear? Hopefully not. We're going to talk football all the way across the 60 minutes. If you want to give us your opinion, why not? Just drop us a little mention in the YouTube feed, and why not subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. If you do that, share it with your friends as well. Tell them about what's happening Monday to Friday. 4 o'clock we're live, and of course if you miss it you can always watch it at your leisure on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. So with that in mind, we'll look ahead to the weekend's Scottish football, but more importantly, time to cast our eyes over the 3 games last night involving Scottish clubs. First of all, Ibrox. Charlie, you were there watching them. In the end, 10 men defeated Alashkert by the solitary goal from Morelos.
Yeah, second half was much better. They obviously got a different game plan to it. Second half, the team they played weren't great. They weren't given much. But first half, Rangers were very disappointing, poor, and yeah, they were lucky to go in without probably real groans from the crowd. But the second half they picked up, and no, they were excellent with 10 men, and they run their hearts out. And I thought Hadji was excellent for them second half, and Scott Wright coming on was brilliant as well. So. Listen, they'll take it for the position that they were in at one point. Yeah,
this is Stephen Gerrard's thoughts on that overall performance over the 90 minutes. We've won the game 1-0 and kept a clean sheet, but the first half performance was so far away from I need it to look and how I want it to look. The players listened to what I had to say at half-time, and I thought we got a reaction. The crowd were outstanding, but we should have made this game so much more comfortable. Well, I watched Rangers' performance on the night, and quite simply, Ruffy, I thought, as Charlie said about the first half, I thought Ryan Kent was poor, but in a positive sense, Scott Wright, I thought, made a crucial difference to them. He seemed to give them a bit of energy. Kent hit the bar, first half, that was a chance for them. Morelos should have burst the net with a header. And then when he got his goal, the whole crowd, you could sense the tension was out of it. I wasn't that impressed with Alashkert. I think Rangers could go over there and win as well, because I thought they were poor.
Yeah, well, I said yesterday I thought Rangers would win quite comfortable, 3-0. I still think that. I think they're a pretty ordinary side, obviously, with the result from their last game against the Welsh side. 2 draws, 2 1-each draws, so Rangers are more than capable of going over there and getting a result. It's just going over where you don't want to be getting into a game with any kind of tension or pressure hanging about it, because there's a lot riding on it. So I would think if Rangers have got the best team out there, that they should win that game 2-0 quite easily.
Yeah, were you as critical of Lundstrom for his challenge? I mean, he's on a yellow already.
It's 2 bad yellow cards, and the first one, the guy breaks away from him. The second one, he pulls the jersey, and when you do that in Europe, you're not going to get away with it. But Rangers just no motoring at the moment. It just when you drop off the standard that they expect as a club and what the manager expects, these European games are made difficult. It doesn't matter who you're playing. They become difficult. The crowd start to get a bit edgy. But the second half, the crowd were all with the Rangers players, and you can see that they got the confidence. Then obviously Morelos got the goal and had a couple of chances after that. But it'll be a disappointment for Lundstrom to get a red card. But they've got Kamara coming back next week, which is a big one because he's a top player.
Yeah, I mean, he will be huge for them. But it was a good enough side that should have been able to see them off more comfortably.
I think Gerrard will be disappointed that the tie's not done yet. Because I think the return leg is 3 days before the Old Firm game. I think they should have last night. I think they're being kind saying they were average and poor. I think they were very poor. I don't think they were great at all, even with a man extra. I thought it looks as if Rangers were the man extra. They were a poor side. Rangers, I think, wanted to put that game to bed last night, 3 or 4-0. Rest players for the Old Firm game. Now 1-0, they've got to go. They've got to play a strong team just in case. You can't go over there at 1-0 if they get the first goal. You're in a cup tie. But Lundstrom, for me, don't fancy him. Don't like the look of him. I think he's struggling because Rangers have got so much of the ball. It's totally different. We mentioned it before. Sheffield United, 25% of possession, ratting people. sitting deep. Now he's got the ball, he's got to go and be creative, and I don't think that's his game. So, disappointing red card last night, and Rangers' second half were excellent, but first half would have been a real cause for concern, I think, for a lot of Rangers supporters.
Yeah, you mentioned, Charlie, you thought the first half there was real tension in the crowd. It needed something to lift them, to get them going.
Yeah, but you expected maybe a Kent to do it, but he just something wasn't there with him last night. You know, I seen him getting the ball away and he was walking round and, you know, disappointed with himself that when he was getting things up, I felt he just kept coming into the space and you know, closing the space off for Lundstrom, for a Rebo. You know, he goes and drifts in areas of the pitch, and he's hindering other people. If he'd stayed wide and allowed the game to be stretched, because for me, Bassey was magnificent again. You know, young kid at left back, 20 years of age.
Puts in some great balls, doesn't he?
Yeah, his deliveries. You know, listen, Barisic has done brilliant, but he has more of a powerful presence than Barisic does, and he gets up and down. I thought he was excellent again. So, you know, he looked to probably be staying in the team. So, no, they were disappointed. Kent was a disappointment for them, but you know, you have these moments. But Rangers at the moment, as a group, are just not playing to the level that they know they can, but that will come. They will get. It'll turn. It turned for Celtic at the moment. Celtic are going well, and the Rangers players will turn as well. And you know, they should get through this tie and get into Europe.
I don't think too many people are disagreeing with you. Certainly, most of the messages we're getting from our YouTube feed, Mr. Whip. I'm sure his real name will come up eventually, but he says, "What a letdown Ryan Kent was. He hasn't kicked a ball so far." And I think we've been talking about it, Ruffy, about players that need to step up. Charlie mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. Jonathan Doe says Kent is well off it. I mean, he's the type of player that was setting the heather on fire in that title-winning season. You know, when you take that step up to European football, you want him to go and do something special.
Yeah, I think it's just common sense, you know, that he's a player that sparks the team. He's the one that does something special. And then the unfortunate thing was when he's not doing it, you know, people start doubting, you know, is he one of the ones that maybe want to move? Or is he one of the ones that the clubs are sniffing about? Maybe his agent said to him, look, I can get you much more money at Leeds or whatever. You're only imagining these things, you're not thinking they are happening, but players get affected by these kind of things, and that might be happening behind the scenes. It might not be, he might just be off form. And we know he's got the form to get back to where he was, so we'll have to just wait and see how that pans out.
Yeah, Hugh Scott, who's obviously a regular contributor on the programme, mentions these things, and he says maybe Kent's affected by the fact that he's wearing a different shirt from the rest of the players. I mean, honest, I'm not sure what's happening. Everybody else has got Unibet, he's got 32 red. Is it his favourite top?
I don't know, maybe it's just one he likes to wear. It fits him perfectly, but Jimmy Bell, whoa.
I don't think Jimmy will know. He'll not be taking the blame for that, Jimmy. I'm knowing him. But the thing about that is that Rangers, obviously, the UEFA will pick up on it. They might get a fine or whatever. But lucky for Rangers is that Unibet and
it's the same company.
It's the same company.
So can I just say something? Somebody sent me it last night, and I thought to myself, well, okay, it's slightly unusual to see it, and I said, but I bet you they're owned by the same company. Yeah. What does it matter?
Yeah, no, but it's just a mistake that they kept, man. But Jimmy will not be taking the blame for it. So
no. So that's Rangers against Alashkert. I think they'll go through in the second leg. I think they'll win over there. I mean, I don't really rate Alashkert unless they do something different, because they never even threw a ball into the box in the second half time. They were woeful.
I think they had one corner and one shot off target in 90 minutes, and they played a full game against 10 men, half a game. Rangers win that comfortably over there.
Yeah, confident.
The heat might be a little bit of a factor, but no, I think Rangers could win this.
Okay, from Rangers against Alashkert, we'll move on to Qarabag against Aberdeen. Just before that, though, Thomas McDougall says, my son Paul McDougall was over the moon meeting Ruffy and John Collins yesterday at Hampden. The photograph was great. So obviously, Ruffy, we were a bit worried that once post-COVID, you know, you'd be struggling for a shekel, but you're out there, you just basically prostituting yourself everywhere.
No, I'm just trying to help the country out. Try to promote the game, you know, as we do on this show, every opportunity we get.
Was there a fee involved?
Like to talk. Yes, a moderate fee, yes.
A few gins.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't drinking, I was driving.
And was it free for the photograph with Paul McDougall?
Free, yes,
Yeah, you
yes.
gave him a
Sign it
photograph.
for fiver?
Yes, no.
Definitely, wasn't it?
And you were with Johnny Collins as well, so 300 press-ups before you took the photograph.
That was surprising. During the photograph, he listed his top for the photograph. But I mean, I thought that was bang out of order.
All right, brand new. Anyway, thanks to Thomas for sending us that message. Qarabag 1, Aberdeen 0. Now, this one is a sore one for Aberdeen because, quite simply, before the game kicked off, Dave Cormack had posted a tweet basically with the pictures of the state of the pitch ahead of the game. Really worried about it. In the end, Aberdeen may have lost the game, but they've lost Andrew Considine as well, a crucial player for his experience, and Stephen Glass clearly looking at a serious injury to his central defender and blaming the pitch.
You're talking about a guy that's played close to 600 games, never done anything like that in his whole career. So for that to happen for a fairly innocuous challenge, it points everything towards the pitch, which we knew, which we didn't look for an excuse before the game. But as a fact, the pitch was a disgrace, and I think their people would agree with it. And I think their team will benefit from a better park as well. So again, we ain't looking for excuses by any means. We're looking forward to the game next Thursday.
Well, he's lost a key player, Charlie.
Yeah, somebody that's been there for a long time, obviously over 500 appearances, and has been a great servant. And if it does come to the news, it's long-term knee injury. It will be a big blow for him because he looked to have played with better football with Stephen. So no, they'll look to probably go into the market to try and get another centre back now. Yeah,
I actually thought they needed another centre back before that anyway. I thought it was one area where I thought they might want to address it, but this is a real blow for Considine. You can only hope that it's not something that has him out for such a long time that he thinks, well, is there any point in fighting back?
Yeah, he's 34 years old. It's a tough one to get at that age. And I was watching it on Red TV, and as soon as he went down, I thought it was a real bad one. You can see him, screaming and shouting for the physio. So I think he's a guy that doesn't go down and stay down. He's a warrior. He's been there for years, and he's a very hardy guy. But I think it's a bad injury, and as I say, hopefully he can come back from it. But 34 years old, it's a really, really hard one to come back from. Yeah,
absolutely, and that's such is the commitment, Ruffy, that obviously the huge satellite dish on the East Kilbride house was able to move quickly around to catch Red TV, which is amazing. It's magnificent. The wee man never misses a game. He's been fantastic, hasn't he?
3 and 4 games a night.
He's absolutely
amazing.
I'd like to put my money back into Scottish football.
That's a good point, by the way.
Or he's Glassy or Brownie's gave him a wee code to...
Possibly. That could be it. That's what happens when you've got mates who play or manage Aberdeen. But nevertheless, I'll tell you one positive aspect of it for Aberdeen. They didn't really threaten Qarabag all that much as far as the game in the first leg, but it's alive for the second leg. It's alive and a great chance for Aberdeen to do what we're all craving. One of them, St Johnstone and Aberdeen, to get there along with hopefully Celtic and Rangers.
Still in the tie. I think that's a decent result over there. They've got a good pedigree in Europe. They've been in the Champions League a couple of times, group stages not that long ago, so they're a decent outfit. To go over there on a bad pitch, in the heat and losing a guy after 5 minutes, you're experienced centre half. 1-0 is a good result. I think a full Pittodrie, on a nice pitch, Aberdeen bang at it. I think they've every chance of getting through.
Yeah, well, we were a wee bit worried, Ruffy, talking about St Johnstone. I mean, by the time I'd listened to you and Tam, I was going to phone Callum Davis and say, look, Callum, don't bother going over there. These two think you're going to get absolutely battered. But I don't think you'd read the script.
No, we all talked up. This Austrian team has been a good league. We talked about their national team, how they were good as well, but all credit to St Johnstone. You just can't take it away from them. They're a good group of boys who go in there and battle for each other, and they get the result, and I really do hope they get a result at home. Obviously the pressure's on a wee bit to get that win, but I really think that something's going for them now. The unfortunate thing is they do draw a lot of games. So they need to find somebody to win it for them.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't think we can be hypercritical of them. They do draw a lot of games. Well, just at the start of the season, I mean, Glenn Middleton's been a great addition for them. His ball through for Chris Kane's goal was sensational.
It's a great move and good finish. But I think Callum will be sitting watching this, thinking, just keep writing us off because we keep proving everybody wrong. And listen, we felt they'd get beat against Galatasaray. They got a draw over there. They obviously got beaten Hingy, but to get out, to go away from here to the Austrian team and get the result they did, let's say the 4 teams are still in good positions. I'd expect Aberdeen to win it at home, and St Johnstone gave themselves a right good chance. So hopefully,
have you changed your mindset then? You think we could be on with 4?
No, I'm not. I don't think 4. I don't think 4. I'd say 3 now. I think St Johnstone are probably in a better position than Aberdeen.
Yeah.
You know that 1-1 away from home and things like that. So no, I'd be more confident that we'd get 3 instead of 2.
Yeah, well, as ever with the St Johnstone, when you get to a one-off game like this in the second leg, Callum Davison knows how to win those one-off games. Cup finals is what he's talking about.
It's not even a game to get European football till December. You know, it's St Johnstone. We're talking about St Johnstone here. If they manage to do that, it's phenomenal. So, you know, first and foremost, obviously league football is so important. You know, it's going to have to make sure I get the players' minds away from it. The game on Thursday, make sure we know where we are for Sunday. It's a really tough game. But again, you know, get through that, and I think hopefully people of Perth, you know, they missed out on 2 cup finals last season, and to be fair, this is a cup final for us on Thursday.
Yeah, and I think Saints fans will be mobilised once again, Tam, for this one.
Yeah, again, I think it'll be a full house, as many as can get into McDermott Park, and you know, it's a huge game. Callum Davison speaking about, it's probably the biggest game they've ever had in terms of finance. You know, and I think it's a £3 million game basically. You know, if they get in the group stages, you know, they could draw, you know, a Spurs or somebody like that. They could draw a big team. So, a massive game, and fingers crossed we can get the 4 of them through.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going for St Johnstone to do it, Ruffy. I still think Aberdeen will do it as well. I'm in a situation here where I hope I'm not too overly optimistic. I'm sure somebody will throw it in my face next week, but I think we could be in a situation where we could have 4 getting through.
My main worry for St Johnstone is, you know, they obviously need to score a goal, and we saw what happened with Galatasaray when they opened up, and these teams have got experience to pick you off, you know. So I think it's important to get the first goal. Yeah. I think it's important Aberdeen get the first goal as well.
Are you going? Charlie's going 3. How many are you going?
2.
2, just Celtic and Rangers.
Yep.
Okay, Tam. Come on, Tam.
I'm going to change my mind.
Oh.
I'm going to say I think St Johnstone will get through. I think the 4 of them get through.
4?
Yep. I obviously watched that game on St Johnstone TV last night, and St Johnstone are excellent.
You are absolutely magnificent.
What size is that satellite dish you've got?
It's
like one of the and horses, remember? Remember he came into the flat?
It's magnificent, by the way. Tam's the type of guy who could get you the latest movie on VHS in the 80s, couldn't he? You could watch E.T. because he got a copy of it from somewhere. Absolutely magnificent. Anyway, listen, how many do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4? Give us your view on that. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening with European football, you can by downloading the PLZ Soccer app. It's a new app. If you have the old one, you'll need to change it. PLZ Soccer app in Google Play and in the App Store as well. Not only can you get all the latest breaking news, Scottish, English, European and world football, it'll keep you up to date with all the stories, and you can actually record yourself and drop a message into us here. If we use it, we'll send you out something nice indeed to do with football. So with that in mind, we are continuing on our merry way to talk about domestic football now. Here's the fixtures for the weekend, spread over Saturday and Sunday. Celtic against St Mirren, Livingston against Motherwell, and then it's Dundee against Hibs, Ross County Rangers, Hearts against Aberdeen, and St Johnstone against Dundee United. We'll be talking Dens Park and Dundee very shortly. But first of all, Celtic against St Mirren, and no Jim Goodwin. He's got COVID, Ruffy, so he won't be in the dugout. He'll be watching maybe from a feed that Tam can get him to watch the game.
It's been a horrible year for St Mirren with the COVID. You know, they're the team that seems to have been affected most player-wise and behind the scenes. So, you know, that'll be a bit of a blow. But I don't think the players will be affected by that. You know, somebody else will take over. I think St Mirren will go there, being a wee bit wise. I've been there before, you know, and I know Dundee made a go of it and try to do something. I think St Mirren will be the opposite.
St Mirren won there last year as well,
yeah,
so
I think St Mirren will be more wary of Celtic. I think they'll sit in early doors. I still think Celtic will win, but I think St Mirren will make it a lot harder for them to score.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. I'm going 2-0.
Oh, you've gone right. Oh, he's gone in early. Even
Not like him.
Not even listening to anything that we might counter
No.
when you're gone 2-0.
Yes.
Listen, does it really have a major effect on the players if the manager's voice is not there? And Jamie Langfield and Lee Sharp will take over the instructions from Jim Goodwin.
No, because he'll have done all the preparation this week. Tested positive this morning, so they'll know what they want to do and how they're going to set up. He'll have a feed into the pre-match or something maybe before the game, and he'll be ready to go. No, Celtic are on a bit of a high. Won the last 5, so you'd expect Celtic to win this, and I don't see anything apart from that result.
Right, okay. I'm looking at Ruffy saying 2-0. I've been looking at some of the predictions that have been coming in our Predictor League, Tam, and some people are just going a wee bit over the top. But nevertheless, having watched Celtic in midweek, I'm impressed with the middle to front, and I think they will cause St Mirren all sorts of problems.
Yeah, so they are. I was really impressed with them against Alkmaar, but I've no idea how they kept a clean sheet. Joe Hart had a couple of great saves, but going forward, they looked as if they could score it well. So I think you're coming up, coming up against St Mirren, no disrespect, Alkmaar are a far better side. So I think I've went for 4-1 at Celtic. I think St Mirren will score. I think they've got a goal in them with McGrath and boys like that, maybe Brophy, but Celtic too strong, 4-1.
Yeah, I've got Celtic to win 3-0. They seem to be going through the gears, and Ange Postecoglou reckons they've got a few more gears to go through.
Maybe 2.5, 3 weeks ago, people were probably questioning what I was doing. So, we're still very much at the beginnings of what we want to try and create here and what I want to try and create. As I said, for me, it's still very much the beginnings, but I've said from day one that doesn't discount the responsibility I have to bring results to the football club. We have some very important games early in the season. In the calendar, we knew that.
Yeah, slowly but surely he's getting this team together. I mean, the deal for the Greek internationals is not yet gone through, but it looks as if in the next couple of days Juranovic could be a Celtic player, and certainly if it was his last appearance for Legia Warsaw, the goal, I don't know if you've seen it on social media, Ruffy, but he's picked it up just inside the opponent's half, travelled about 20 yards and then lashed it into the roof of the net.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Did you see it on social media?
No, I
Ruffy?
didn't see it at all.
Do you know what social media is?
Yeah, frightened to go on social media.
Lots of people are asking for you payments. Tam, it was some goal, wasn't it?
Oh, screamer. If Celtic done the deal, was the deal done? Because I had a couple of million on after that goal.
Absolutely. I mean, it was one of those ones you're saying he's going to pass it, and then he thought, no, I'm going to hit the postage stamp with it.
Fantastic goal. But as long as the deal's done and signed, then I think Celtic fans will be buzzing for him to come in after seeing that goal.
Yeah, well, the one thing that Celtic fans are buzzing about is their number 8, and Ange Postecoglou just reckons that he's going to be a huge star in Scottish football. I'm talking, of course, about Kyogo Furuhashi.
I was super confident about. I mean, he's dominated that league for the last 3-4 years. I was surprised he hadn't left earlier, to be honest. He was just we were kind of lucky that, he had stuck around for a bit. But there's definitely more talent there, and it's definitely a market we're looking at closely.
Yeah, he's been good, Charlie. You were impressed by him. I've watched him on countless occasions. I've fallen into the trap yesterday of just saying he reminds me of Henrik Larsson with the runs. I'm not necessarily suggesting he's going to score the same amount of goals as Henrik Larsson, but he's got that kind of movement.
He has got that movement. He's he's made an impact to Celtic. It was something that they needed, and they'll be as a board and whoever's signed him, the manager, they'll be delighted with what he's done so far. They'll be hoping it can continue for a long time, but there's a lot of tougher tests coming up in the next few weeks for them.
Yeah, okay, that's Celtic against St Mirren. Livingston against Motherwell, Ruffy. This one's an interesting one because Livy lost to Hearts. Motherwell haven't had a great start. It's two sides who desperately are looking for a confidence-boosting win. This one's a tough one to call for me.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed with Livy at all. Obviously they lost a couple of their big players, the centre-half and the centre-forward. So I think this is one you could quite easily go a draw. But in the situation I'm in, I need a win and I need 5 points. So I'm going to stick my neck out and go for Motherwell. I know they've not been playing particularly well either, but one of them's got to turn the corner, and I think Motherwell's more likely to turn the corner than Livy, so I'm going to go Motherwell to win this one.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that because every now and then I love listening to managers who basically come out with some fantastic lines that make you laugh, some lines that you think, are you watching the same game? Today, Graham Alexander says he isn't looking at the league table. We're only 2 games into the season.
I'm not looking at the table at all, up or down. It's 2 games in. It's I think I've been in the game long enough to know that seasons are long. Form comes and goes. Teams very rarely finish where they start. So for me, my focus this week has been on how to improve on our recent performances to get the wins, and then concentrate on how we beat Livingston.
Yeah, well, if he's not looking at the league table, the Motherwell fans are. There's just, I don't know, there's just a wee kind of a rumblings in the background, a few moans from some of my Motherwell mates with regards to them. I've got it 1-1 because I think it's a team, Livingston, that I've tipped to get relegated, and Motherwell I've tipped to go in the playoff place.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a lot in it tomorrow. In terms of Motherwell, I think it's always, when you're an English manager and you come up and you bring up kind of English players, you've got to hit the ground running up here, because the Scottish fans and the football fans up here think, well, why are you bringing all these guys up from England? You can buy guys here. It was the same with Heckenbotham at Hibs. He brought all these guys up and didn't work out. So I think there's a wee bit of pressure, probably more so on Motherwell than Livingston. I think Livingston will win. I was quite impressed with Livingston against Aberdeen. I thought they were very unlucky. The goalkeeper threw one in the last minute, but I think Livingston could easily win that game. And I think on that park, they've got to pick up the majority of their points on there. And I think if Motherwell are not up for the battle, they'll get the stomach for it, I think Livingston will turn them over. So I'm going to go for 2-1 to Livy.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie, from your own point of view, you played Motherwell last week. Do you sense there's a confidence issue there? Is there something missing from them, or do you think they could turn over Livingston?
I think there'll be a draw. I didn't see much last week to think that they can win the game. I think it'll be a draw, and that'll be it.
Yeah, okay. Don't be so despondent about it, Charlie. It's fine. It's fine. But
say 0-0, didn't you?
You've gone a draw. I've gone 1-1. The other thing I was going to say, just before we talk about Dundee Hibs, some breaking news. It looks as if there's going to be no Celtic fans next week at Ibrox. Tam, this is basically a U-turn from Rangers. I think Rangers were looking for some cast iron guarantees that there would be tickets available for Rangers fans, a guarantee that they would be allowed into Celtic Park for the return fixture against Celtic in the league. But I don't think Celtic are able to give them that guarantee. So suddenly we're in a tit for tat. Well, if there's no guarantees, there's not even 700 fans.
Disappointing. That's obviously you've just come out with the news there, and for me as a football fan, I want to see, we spoke about 700 fans, I want to see 5,000, 6,000 Celtic fans at Ibrox and vice versa at Ibrox. It adds to the fixture, adds to the colour of the game, and I think having no away fans is poor. Obviously we can't guarantee anything in this day and age with the COVID stuff, so disappointed, but no surprise, to be honest.
Yeah, no surprise, because the conduct, I think, in Scottish football is deplorable, but this is another one which started basically, Ruffy, with Rangers. As far as the Old Firm is concerned, I've already said that Hibs and Hearts started the whole ball rolling with their lunacy through in Edinburgh, but Rangers have picked it up, didn't allow the fans in, reduced the contribution as far as tickets for the away side, and just basically killed the tie. And now they're in a tit for tat. This is only the tip of the iceberg of this stupid country and the lunacy that goes on.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what the actual fans think about it. I know the club...
Well, you don't need to ask the fans. The fans know right away.
Yeah.
The away fans are looking at it and thinking, this is supposed to be a sport we're promoting. This is supposed to be a game where you love the feeling of having a huge amount of away fans. We want to promote it to get more and more fans into the ground. But we're in a situation where the 2 biggest clubs and others have all got into this whole situation of not thinking about the fans.
But that's why I'm saying, that's why I think the clubs think that's what the fans want. They want stuff used, let's get as many of our supporters in, but I'm sure there's a lot of supporters out there would say, no, we'd rather have Celtic in or Rangers in or Hibs or Hearts in. I think they want that kind of banter in the stadium, but the clubs don't think that way. The clubs are just feeding the supporters.
But the thing is, Celtic can't guarantee St Mirren tickets for tomorrow's game. So if they can't do that for tomorrow, how can they do it for them? So I think that both clubs are better just saying, let's have no fans at home games, and when we can, we'll try and come to a compromise, and that's it. So that's the way to go, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing about it here, Tam, is quite simply the conduct of the clubs is now actually making it sound rational to the fans. There are fans now who are actually accepting this whole attitude, this siege mentality, as if it's the norm. Stuff you, who cares?
Yeah, it's disappointing. As you say, you don't want to see that. You want to see away fans in the grounds. You know, particularly that is, you know, it's the biggest game in Scottish football. You know, let's not beat about the bush. Celtic Rangers. You know, and you want to see, you know, people scoring goals, running to the crowd. You know, away fans. That's what it's all about. That's what football's all about. Scoring goals, celebrating with fans. And I don't understand it. But as you said, I think a lot of clubs now are the tit for tat. It's all started with the SPFL and the votes and everything. It just seems to be not getting any better since then.
Yep. Okay, that's just some breaking news. You might want to give us your opinion on it, if it's rational and balanced. But I think as a spectacle, when we're trying to promote the sport, it should be all about the supporters, but I'm not so sure. Anyway, over and above that, Dundee against Hibernian. This is a humdinger. I mean, I don't think I'll have to go to Tam for his prediction to surprise you today. But it's
going to get beat 4-1, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a good one. If Graham Alexander's not looking at the table, I don't think anybody is at this early stage. What about yourselves? How is there a feeling that you just need one and then it'll all click?
Well, we got it last week.
Yeah.
You know, that was the first and foremost when we think it's important you win a game as early as you can in the league or in the cup, and you know, against an SPS, a Premier League team, it helps. So hopefully we can take confidence from that. Listen, Hibs are a good side, we know that. They've got good players, Nisbet, Boyle. But, you know, we'll work on a couple of things in the next few days that we think that can hurt them. And it's another big challenge, you know. Hibs are a club going forward, spending a bit of money, you know, got a good manager. So yeah, it's another challenge for us, but you know, on our day, can we compete? Absolutely.
Yeah, did you sense there was a lift this week in training from players after that cup win?
No, definitely. Listen, we drew at home to St Mirren. We were unfortunately going down to 10 men, and we probably could have nicked that. We were well and truly beaten against Celtic, which can happen. We got the result against Motherwell, and we've taken confidence from that. And we're at home. It's live on Sky, and yeah, we'll try and win the game because, you know, we see that there's a few things that we can work on to cause Hibs problems, and hopefully we can do that in a day. Yeah,
if you're talking about momentum, if you're talking about psychological boosts, boy, Hibs have had it this week, haven't they? I mean, Martin Boyle signs a new deal, James Scott's coming in, everything looks rosy, 2 wins out of 2, top of the league, Tam. It's all downhill from here.
But I was going to say that, it's all Hibs fans will never like the sound of that, but I think it'll be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. I was really impressed with Dundee at the tail end of last season. They're quite an attacking team. They go forward, they try and attack. Hibs are the same. So I'm expecting goals in the game. I just think that Hibs in those front areas with Boyle and Nisbet, McGuinness has been a revelation. You know, just sitting in behind Nisbet. I think they've just got a wee bit extra quality, which will win the game on the day. I think I put down either 2-1 to Hibs or 3-1 to Hibs. I'm not sure, but I think Hibs will win the game.
Yeah, Ruffy?
The same, I think, if you're in the Hibs camp and you have ambitions to be the third team in the league or the fourth team, you've got to go to Dens Park and you've got to put a fight, because you're going to get a fight. You know, Dundee are going to fight right for everything. And this will be a judge of Hibs when they go there. You know, have they got it in their makeup to go to places like Dens Park and dig it a win? With the Boyle signing and the other boy coming in, I'm just going to go Hibs to nick it 2-1.
Yeah, I think the thing about it is, you know, sometimes when you meet people and you like them and you become friends with them, you expect a wee bit of loyalty or something to try and bring them on side. But you two have just decided that Charlie is here and you're just going to stick it to him every week. Is that fair?
You just don't want to be paying for the meal. So if Charlie's willing to subsidise my meal, I'll go for 3-1 at Dundee.
Well, if I get a win bonus, I'll pay, no problem.
There you go.
Absolutely.
A win bonus might not be enough this year.
There's a whole lot of us.
Plenty with the win bonuses we're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm just thinking, you know, a wee bit of camaraderie. I've gone 2-1 Hibs as well, so let's move on. So,
what time do we finish here? Can I walk off now?
It's unbelievable, by the way. Anyway, that's Dundee against Thames. Ross County against Rangers. Listen, you're now in a situation where Ryan Jack could be getting closer to returning. I think that would be a major boost to them as well. You know, we've almost forgotten about him. And he was such a key player for Rangers.
Yeah, and that's why I think Bacunia signed as well. I think that they don't need to go and push him now to try and bring him in a little bit earlier. You could take their time with him, get him ready, get him spot on, and hopefully there's no reoccurrence of the injury, because it was a big operation that he had, and I just hope that he's back, because he makes Rangers tick at times and gives them good energy as well. So once he's back, though, I think you'll see a better Rangers team as well. So they've got a couple of issues. Sagala's out still. And who else is missing? The midfielder that they had from Bournemouth still missing with the heart issue as well. So they'll go with that, and I think Rangers will win this game, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there. I mean, this is what we talk about with managers who say, I don't think there'll be any major movement in the transfer market. 24 hours later, boom, in comes Juninho Bacunia, and we had to do a little bit of research into him for Rangers fans who are thinking, what have we bought here?
Rangers have signed attacking midfielder Juninho Bacunia from Huddersfield Town for an undisclosed fee. But who is the 24-year-old? Bacunia was born in the Netherlands and came through the Groningen Academy at 17 years old, which also brought through the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Ian Robin. He moved to the Terriers in 2018 and made 107 appearances, scoring 12 goals. He featured 44 times last campaign and scored 4, attracting clubs such as Rangers to his talents. Bacunia is an international with 10 caps for Curaçao, although he has not played yet this season at all. He's been brought in by manager Steven Gerrard in an attempt to bolster their creativity and find the right balance in the midfield. The Ibrox faithful will hope Bacunia can hit the ground running.
Well, if the supporters are getting a little bit excited, here's what the manager had to say about the new signing for Rangers. Bacunia is a really big talent. He hasn't played a lot of football recently, so we need to be patient. He's an attacking midfielder with a great range of passing. If we can give him the tools to evolve, he should be a great addition. He is a player the fans will be really excited to watch in action, and that's what they want to hear, Tom.
Yeah, definitely. I think that any good players are always encouraged in that club, and if he can come in and make an impact, Rangers have got a lot of players in that area. Aribo in there and Wright. So if he can just sit in behind the striker, maybe playing that hole, then he could be a big player for Rangers. But 24 years old, best years are ahead of him. Played a lot of games down in England, so looking forward to see what he can do up here.
Yeah.
Last night I felt that was one thing they were missing for the game. If they can get somebody that can go and play 50, 60 yard balls left to right and stretch teams, I think he can be a good addition. If the manager's obviously said he's a good passer as well, so I think it's something that, because the players in midfield are all quite similar, so if he's a little bit different from what they have, then he'll definitely be a different option for him. Yeah,
24-year-old Charlie Adam would have just slotted easily into that Rangers side.
Well, I'd hope so. I'd probably still playing there now, but obviously I'm at my boyhood club and it's very difficult to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I get that. And of course, Rangers couldn't afford the money you were asking.
That's why I'm getting topped up coming on here.
But also, I think Dougie
How many administrations have Dundee had?
He's at the club that he supports as a boy, which is a great thing for Dundee fans to hear. Dougie Sadler says Bacunia is a good player, better than Jack, far better. He watches a lot of the Championship. Well, Dougie, if the Rangers fans are listening to what you've got to say, they'll be excited by this. Steven Gerrard's excited, and as Charlie mentioned there, it just needs maybe a player just to freshen up the midfield, give everybody that edge. Competition is always good. So that's somebody to look forward to as well. And Rangers will be looking to, as Charlie mentioned there, off the back of the Alishkert result, maybe kick on now and start to get the defence of the title really motoring. So that's Ross County against Rangers. I've got it as 3-0. I think I've got it as 3-0 to Rangers. Ruffy, what have you got?
I had 2-1 Ross County.
Yeah, I've got 2-0 Ross. What? Do you know what? See, as soon as I looked there, I knew you were going to say something totally different. I've got Rangers to win 2-0.
I've got Rangers to win 2-0 as well.
Yeah, Tam?
I've got 2-1. I think Ross County might score. Not been impressed with Rangers at the back, so 2-1 to Rangers.
Yeah.
I think Rangers will win.
Right, okay. Okay, he just goes into that kind of a, you know.
Oh, well, I can't say score.
No, don't say the score. We're happy with that. That's good. Hearts against Aberdeen. Blow, losing Considine. Aberdeen just have to pick themselves up. Hearts, 2 wins from 2 games, including a win over Celtic in the league. I think a lot of people were maybe thinking that Hearts were going to have a bumpy start, but it hasn't been that way.
No, I think Hearts obviously home advantage. We talk about Tynecastle, we talk about the atmosphere. I think Aberdeen might suffer a wee bit, obviously, with the game in midweek. They haven't really been impressive. The Livy game, I thought they were fortunate to get something out of that game. So Hearts with a home advantage, I think I've been impressed with them. Not fantastically impressed, but a wee bit more than, they are playing a lot better than what I thought they would be and getting reasonable results. So I'm going to go a home win in this one.
Yeah, and what's the score with you and Hearts? You just seem to be in a love-in at the moment. Are you just exchanging title flags as well? What's the background to this?
Oh, well, they're obviously a parent club, you know, so...
Played 45 friendlies against them during
lockdown. It was getting a bit ridiculous, but what happened with the League Championship flags? Did the SPFL send the title flag out? I mean, look at this. Hey, Jam Tarts, this is from Thistle. The SPFL have sent a present yesterday, but we think it might be for you. Hoping to trade it in for the red and yellow version. Can you help us? Because clearly they sent out the title-winning flag to Partick Thistle instead of heading out to Tynecastle.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, I thought you meant the flag I put up didn't have the sponsor on it. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, well, maybe you've got one coming with the title with the sponsor in the middle as well. Yeah. But that one was sent to Firhill, Ruffy, as well. So maybe it's a chance for all the Thistle team to go through and play another game against Hearts.
Why didn't he get another friendly? I mean, may as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we've already got their goalkeeper, so that's a start.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, as far as Aberdeen are concerned, we were getting excited about them because of the start they've made. Defeat to Karabag, but I'm still curious to see if they're going to be, you know, as good in this league this season. And I think the next few games are going to be a real test. This one at Tynecastle is a real test, isn't it?
Big test for them. Probably the biggest test they've had so far. Coming back from Karabag. The thing about Aberdeen now, they're starting to pick up a couple of injuries. Johnny Hayes was out, Hedges was out, Considine's out, so they're starting to pick up injuries. Don't think they've got the biggest squad. I think they're starting 11, maybe 12, 13 players have got are really good, but outside of that it's kind of kids. So big test for them. I think coming back from Karabag, Hearts fresh, Tynecastle, big crowd. I fancy Hearts. I think I went for Hearts to win 2-1.
Yeah, Dave Cormack says he's going to push the board out. He's expecting more players to come in. I haven't seen any great urgency or links to a number of players, Charlie, and they're knocked out of the League Cup by Wraith Rovers, which was certainly a surprise to everyone.
There's a couple of bad results, and like I say, you have to bounce back with it, and it doesn't get much, obviously tougher going to Tynecastle on Sunday, so they'll look to try and get something at the game. I think that will be a draw. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm with you, Charlie, on that. I think Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1. Ruffy, where are you?
Yeah, I'm 2-1 Hearts.
2-1 to the Jambos.
I think Hearts will nick it.
Yeah, okay. St Johnstone against Dundee United. I don't know how many more superlatives we can throw St Johnstone's way, because they're a good team. And I think the back line has got all the credit it deserves, especially from the cup matches as well. They're well organised. And well, maybe Ruffy thinks they can score a few more goals. I don't know how they're going to try and address that, but if they get through this next one next week, then suddenly I think Callum Davison will be able to go out and strengthen that squad even further.
Oh, absolutely. If they can get that £2 or £3 million that comes with getting into the group stages, then it'll enable them probably to keep all his better players, particularly his back three and Ali McCann. I just think it'll be very difficult for them coming back from Lask. Put a lot of effort in last night in the game, a lot of running. I think he might rest a few players. I think that last game is huge. I don't think this game is still a big game, but I just think they're looking ahead to Lask. So I've actually went for a wee upset here.
Wow.
I think Dundee United can go there and win. So I've went for 2-1 to Dundee United.
Well, that's great news, by the way, because usually you wait till the first quarter of predictions before your lunatic predictions, but he's gone early, Charlie. I think St Johnstone will win this 2-1.
No, I don't think United will win, but I'm in Tam's boat where I think that the European game's a bigger game for them, because of the consequence of the money that is involved. I think he will rest a few, and it caused them problems in the last game against Motherwell from Galatasaray. So I just think it'll be a draw. I'll go for 1-1.
Yeah, you've got them in the League Cup as well.
Yeah, no, it's a good tie for us. We're at home, yeah, it's one that we fancy and we'll look forward to when it comes round.
Yeah, Dundee United, I haven't been overly impressed with them, although you've got to hand it to them. They managed to see off Rangers at Tannadice.
Yeah, they got over Rangers, but we know Rangers weren't playing particularly well that day. Like the guys, we all talk about Rangers and Celtic coming back for European games, and that's the game that you might get them. And I think it's even more so with St Johnstone. You know, they've now went through that experience of who do you leave out? You know, do you play your full team with the game coming up? So I think they will rest a few. And I still think they're good enough to get a draw, so I'm going to go one each.
Yeah, thanks to Neil Gray, who says Saints will sign the Finnish striker Eetu Virtanen when they get round to it. Just a bit of red tape at the moment. So clearly they're listening to Ruffy. They need goals, looking to a striker. We'll wait to see how that all develops this week with Callum Davison, but he's got a big game against Dundee United. As ever on this programme, apart from highlighting the fact that these two swear like troopers, everybody actually has a big list now when they're watching the programme to see how many name drops Tam McManus will make on friends that he has in football. It should be a feature that we do. He's another friend of mine in football, and one of them has just been made the Hamilton Accies manager. Here, Gabriel Antoniazzi is with us to talk us through what's happening there at New Douglas Park.
Thanks, Peter, and good afternoon from the Fountain of Youth Stadium, where Stuart Taylor has just been unveiled as Brian Rice's successor as the Hamilton Accies head coach. Now, the former midfielder played for a string of clubs across Scotland. He ended his career here in 2009. He's since taken up various coaching roles. He was the manager of Limerick, but most recently he's been at Ross County on Malky Mackay's backroom staff. He said it was time to become the main man yet again and also to return to Central Scotland.
I spoke to the manager, Malky, up there on Tuesday, and we spoke about it a lot, but my family were really calling for me to come back home. Really, that's what the thing was, and I took the opportunity to contact the club and see where they were in the process, if they were still looking for someone. So there's a big leap of faith, I suppose you could say.
So Accies, of course, got relegated from the top flight last season, but their aim is to return to the Premiership at some point, although it may not be this campaign.
I think it's very realistic that the club will go back up. It's just a matter of time, and as I said to you, I'm not looking for perfection right now, but I'm certainly looking for progression, and I'm sure we will have progression as time goes on.
Taylor will be in the stands for the weekend's game against Championship title favourites Kilmarnock before the hard work starts next week.
Thanks to Gabriel out there at New Douglas Park. You rate him highly as a coach, Tam, albeit the fact that you know him well.
Yeah, he's one of my best mates in football. I've known him for 20 years, ever since I went to Aberdeen on loan from Hibs. He used to give me a lift to training. He's from the same area as me in Glasgow. So, no, played with him, played under him, he signed me for Limerick, he was a manager there. I've seen him coaching, I've seen him in action. Charlie knows him as well from Stoke City. Great guy, very honest, good coach. And I just think it's a great fit for him to go to Hamilton Accies. He's played there. He's an assistant coach here. He knows what's required, he knows what Hamilton Accies are about, bringing young players in, blooding them, giving them opportunities. So I'm really thrilled for him that he's... Obviously, he was in Ipswich and he was travelling up the road to Bishop Briggs, and then he went to Dingwall. So I'm glad that he's back down the Central Belt. He can see his family, he's got 3 young kids, and hopefully it'll work out well for him.
Yeah, you just actually have to wonder, I mean, if Hamilton Accies fans are watching this and they think, you know, hopefully you've got a manager who's going to give youth this chance, make some good signings, but they'll be worrying about his judgment if he gave Tam a deal at Limerick. Clearly that's a fault line that the Accies fans will be thinking.
He done all right at Limerick, didn't he?
Aye, he done quite well over there.
Scored a few goals for him.
Yeah, he done well. I scored a couple of
goals.
Limerick
Go first?
Yes, he did. Aye.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
So he got enough coin to tour him.
They ripped that club off for everything.
I think it's a good appointment for him. You know, he's been down in England a long time. I had him at Stoke under Paul Lambert for 6 months. Enjoyed working with him as a coach. Played with him when I was at Ross County as a young lad as well. So no, he's a good guy, and good to see him back in as a number one. Yeah, my only concern with this one, Ruffy, is if Brian Rice last year, and I put it to him that he wanted to bring a wee bit of experience to try and keep them in the division, he'll need a wee bit of experience to get them out of that division, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it with a constant stream of youngsters. He's going to need something. I hope they're able to back him with plans to get maybe 1 or 2 in.
Yeah, well, they haven't done anything this season. You know, they've been pretty poor this season. But a new manager coming in, he'll know most of the players that are there. I'm sure he will, and they might just get something out. It'll be interesting. I think obviously Charlie knows how difficult that championship is, and there are serious teams in there who want to get promoted. So I would expect them to be in the top 4 once they eventually get their act together. But I don't know about bringing in players or throwing money at it to get back up the Premiership.
Okay, from Scottish football, a quick look at English football over the weekend. Of course, Tottenham had a major blow, losing to Pacos de Ferreira in the European competition. And Nuno Espirito Santo says the feel-good factor has almost certainly gone at Tottenham after that defeat.
Of course, it impacts a lot. Nobody likes to lose a game. Nobody likes to not play good. And the feel-good factor disappear.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you're looking at a club with such negativity around them at the moment, it's Tottenham.
Yeah, and I seen the team they put out last night. You know, I don't think it's a competition they're taking seriously at all.
Yeah.
You always can tell when the substitutions. The subs were number 50 to number 80. Every single one of them was all kids, and they left all the big players at home. I don't think they're interested in that competition, but obviously off to a flyer in the league beating Man City. But I think the whole Kane thing hanging over them needs to get sorted one way or the other. Either he's staying or the cash in and let him go. Yeah, Tottenham against Wolves. Certainly, when you look at the fixtures over the weekend, Arsenal, Chelsea screaming out at you, Charlie.
Yeah, no, it's not an easy game for Tottenham going to Wolves on Sunday. So. Yeah, there's a few decent games. Southampton against Man United, the form that Man U were in last week is a good one. But that Arsenal-Chelsea game sticks out, and that'll be a cracker.
Yeah, I think Arteta's under a wee bit of pressure.
He must be, yeah. But now they've spent like over 100 million. It looks like they're bringing the goalkeeper in. Odegaard come in this morning.
I like Odegaard, do you?
He's a good player,
yeah.
But it's going to be tough for Arsenal, I think, this season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've got them 9th, Ruffy, in my prediction.
Yeah, I think if there's a bookies out there, he could be the first manager to go. You know, I think he really desperately needs wins, and I don't know how he's been there. I don't know how he started the season, because I don't think there was any evidence that he was going to change it round.
Yeah, okay. Dark days ahead for Arsenal, or do you disagree? Just before we go, a quick look at UEFA. The nominations for the player and manager of the year were revealed yesterday. Okay, De Bruyne, Jorginho and Kante. Who gets the vote for you, Tam?
Oh, as an attacking player, I'd have to get to De Bruyne, but I think Kante was absolutely outstanding, particularly in the final. So I'll go for De Bruyne just because I like to see flair. Yeah,
if it was me, I think Jorginho would get the nod for me. Charlie, what about yourself?
Jorginho, he won the Champions League and he won the Euros with Italy, and I thought he was tremendous for them. So I think he's probably been the best standout player.
Yeah, Ruffy?
I'm going to go with De Bruyne. I think he's great. When he's not in the team, you can see they're lacking, and then it's all of a sudden he comes in and he does something special. So I'm going for him.
Yeah, okay. Again, as Charlie mentioned there, as far as opinions are concerned, you get what you pay for, and Tam and Ruffy have decided to stick together, but what do they know about...
Well, we got to what then? 52 minutes, somebody's fair.
52 minutes, absolutely. What about the coach of the year? Okay, here are the 3 options, Ruffy. Pep Guardiola, Roberto Mancini and Thomas Tuchel. Who's getting your vote?
Mancini.
Yeah, I'm going with Mancini. What about yourself, Charlie?
Yeah, Mancini as well, I think.
Tam, are you out on your own here?
I'm going to go for Mancini.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't go to the final. We've got to give it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He saved a nation. And it wasn't Italy.
He saved a nation, brilliant. Anyway, apart from anything else, listen, you can be tribalistic when it comes to club and country if you love watching your team play. That's the joy of it all, providing, of course, it doesn't become abusive. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd love to hear from you. You can download the app as well, send messages to us in the submissions section, but it'll keep you up to date, the app, with all the breaking stories, Scottish, English, European and world football. But joining us Monday to Friday, 4 o'clock live, or watch it at your leisure on your apps as well as on the YouTube on your television too. Hopefully you will join the football family, the ever-growing one, watching Peter and Ruffy's football show and all our unique video content. I can tell you, I'm really looking forward to a special we've got coming up commemorating 50 years since Partick Thistle defeated Celtic in the League Cup final 1971, the 23rd of October. And I had Ruffy and the Partick Thistle captain Alec Ray here in the studio reminiscing, telling us some great funny stories. It's certainly one worthy of your time.
Can I just ask, did Ruffy ask for an extra fee on top of his fee for doing that,
He
mate?
got a double fee. It's as simple as that. That's the type of guy he is, by the way.
Charlatan.
It's unbelievable what he's thinking. He's too thinky, yeah.
Well,
I don't think of that.
Charlie.
I'm mercenary.
Charlie, I had to pay him to come to a house party. I mean, that's where we're at.
Aye, his own.
It's absolutely incredible now. Nothing for free. It's a shekel all the way. Anyway, apart from anything else, we've been together 10 years, Ruffy. It's good value. I mean, you've been incredible. 10 years we've been together.
It's unbelievable without ever getting expenses.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.